8 years ago, my cousin Joe was getting married. He invited me to his bachelor party. It was me and a bunch of his weird friends I was uncomfortable around. I spent the whole night nursing a beer waiting for it to end. Towards the end of the night, his best man, whose name I can't even remember, had two strippers come. I hated the idea, so I continued to nurse the beer while the girls entertained them. A week later, while I was at the gym, a pretty girl I couldn't quite place comes up to me and starts making small talk. I ask how I know her, and she says she was the entertainment at a party I was at. I was surprised by how different she looked compared to that night. Long story short, I end up asking her out. Her fake name is going to be Audrey. It turns out Audrey'd only been stripping for a few months. I believed her, but her friends have confirmed it. And she ends up quitting a few weeks after we start dating. I was clearly uncomfortable with it, and she didn't really like it. She's never been ashamed about it, but we haven't told anyone in our family about it, and Joe kept his mouth shut, because I asked him to. She's still friends with some girls who still strip, and I think that some of my friends put two and two together, but haven't been rude or anything, just made the usual I'm jealous jokes. Anyways, we've had two great kids, a son, 5, and a daughter, 3, and we're thinking about having 1 or 2 more. Joe's always been super quiet around Audrey, probably because of how they met, until recently, after his divorce. He started complimenting my wife's physical appearance, like every time he sees her. I've told him to lay off, but he hasn't so far. One incident in particular where he said something about kids not ruining her figure really pissed me off. And I bowed up on him, and he apologized saying he was drunk. We were at a family barbecue. I calmed down and realized I wasn't going to beat his ass in front of my whole extended family and my kids. I told him not to talk my wife again. This has really come to a head, where he sent my wife a love letter asking her to leave me and start a life with him. She sent a reply email just saying no thank you. What do I do here? I love my family. I love my extended family. And I want her to be comfortable around them. And she can't be with Joe there. Audrey doesn't want me to tell my family he's making her uncomfortable, because she's afraid Joe will let out the fact that she used to be a stripper. I told her I'd be okay with it, but she's pretty adamant on not wanting them to know. Another thing, Joe hasn't done anything that would require legal action. He'd been acting like a teenager with a crush, and my wife admitted that she doesn't feel like she's in any kind of danger. I told her that we need to watch him carefully, but I don't know if there is much we can do on this front. My wife has just been terrified he's going to tell my family. I've been there for her the best I can. She's afraid that one day our kids could find out if the whole family learns. I would love advice on this whole horrible situation. 2 days later, yesterday, my wife and I decided to show my parents Joe's email love letter. We learned a lot of things. 1. Joe has apparently seduced another one, our cousin's wife, as well as his uncle's wife. Joe's uncle is only 5 years older than him. Both times he sent a love letter, and both times ignored them afterwards. I don't know why, but both of those couples are still together. All of them are religious, so maybe it has something to do with not wanting to get divorced. 2. The reason Joe got a divorce was because he would not stop cheating on his wife. 3. Joe came to his parents and the older family members, who I will refer to as the old guard facetiously, and asked for help after being caught with the cousin's wife, saying he was sorry, and that he had a problem. They decided to forgive him, but put rules in place. 4. My parents knew about Audrey. Joe had told his mom, told my mom, her sister. My mom told my dad. Audrey started crying at 4. But my parents gave her a hug, and told her they didn't care. It was great, and after some tears we went back to our house. A babysitter was watching the kids. My parents told me the old guard was going to talk to Joe. Apparently Joe told everyone there about Audrey. By trying to say that her being around set him back. Everyone didn't know, except for my parents and Joe's parents. He claimed that she made the first move. He also said that he slept with her on Tuesday while I was at work. That was completely false, because I had started working from home a month ago. I was at home all day with my wife. Just to be clear, there's no way she has been having an affair with him. I think the longest we've been apart this month has been an hour when she gets groceries. And he claimed Tuesday was the first time. The fallout has been horrible. Apparently I was already the black sheep, not the fucking sexual deviant, because my family doesn't go to church. We've received various messages denouncing us, the worst being from the parents of Lisa. Lisa is like a sister to me. Her parents moved in with mine, and we lived together. Lisa turned 17 recently, and her parents aren't allowing her to be at our house anymore. She used to come over all the time. My wife is crushed. I've been holding her as much as I can, and I know our kids are making her feel better. But she told me that her worst nightmare came true. She still thinks going to my parents was the right idea though. My parents are still supporting us. The younger group who aren't living with their parents won't cut us out. I've pretty much written off the rest of the family. I'll try to have my parents explain that she had nothing to do with Joe. But if they don't listen, they don't listen. Lisa also doesn't believe it. But besides a text saying that she doesn't want to stop being around us, we haven't heard from her. Commenter 1. What I don't get is how stripping is a sin, but watching stripping isn't. Joe is trash. Commenter 2. Watching is fine, and apparently so is sleeping around with married women. Stripping itself is the red line. Wow,